kanalen. I dag skal vi ta opp nok et interessant tema, så jeg setter over til studio.
Yeah, then I want to invite you to a new program here in Family Channel. Today we are going to talk about a very severe case regarding the Norwegian barnevernet, the CPS, the child care system in Norway, well known for all its judgment in Human Rights Court in Strasbourg. I sit here with Helena Michaelsen and her friend Oliver, and we are going to tell you a little bit about this case, how it started, how it went on, and the situation today. But first I'd like to introduce to you Helena. She have a page on Facebook, and this page show her together with her daughter. She is a singer, a vocalist in Imperia, the band Imperia. They are just coming out with a new music long player here, and she have been fighting for her daughter ever since 2015, and it all started in as was described in the Norwegian media regarding a land dispute about her property where she lived with her daughter at the time, where some neighbors start to make roads and destroy the water supply and the land around her house. And this ended up with these people around her sending worries to the local barnevern, child care protection service. And it ended up in acute taking of her daughter, and she has been gone for the last few years in that system. And Helena have been trying to fight ever since to get her daughter back, and she first went she have gone through several trials and trying to fight to get back, but the system in Norway and this childcare office in Froland kommune is something for itself. It's when you have this kind of dynamics in the societies in Norway, people in power stick together against you and me. That's how it works, and that's what you see in this case, where police, court, childcare workers, neighbors, people knowing each other is coming up against Helena and her daughter. And just this month, second, she was in city court, an appeal from the county board to regain her daughter from this foster system. So Helena, maybe you can explain very short the introduction to the case. What happened with your land just before it started to be a barnevern case?
Yeah, me and my daughter lived happy on a small farm. We had horses and dogs and cats, and many people followed my Facebook because I shared our idyllic life on my Facebook. And then I was in education, child and youth worker, and as a special pedagogic at the university, and I also worked as a teacher at Astra School in Arendal, and a lot of other things, kindergarten, and well, until Froland Kommune gave illegal allowances to build up 2 houses and roads to get to these houses on the neighbor property.
Yeah.
And this is the neighbors you talk about, and they choose to do this work themselves to save money instead of hire professional companies for it. So because of that, they digged into on my property and they did sprengningen, blow-ups in the rocks under the ground wherever they felt like, and they didn't look on how the systems on my land was, or any in front work of where not to dig or do things.
Yeah.
And in this way, our drinking water and well got poisoned and ruined.
Yeah.
And in this way, my sewage infiltration and system got ruined. So basically, my house got you couldn't live there anymore. You cannot live without water and broken sewage infiltration. So I went to Froland Kommune and asked if they could fix up for what they have done, but there I met locked doors. The neighbors I invited for coffee and asked them, you want to fix this in a normal, relaxed way? They were not interested. So I had no choice than to go towards Froland Kommune, the official way, which is called Fylkesmannen in Norway, and towards the neighbors who had done this work that ruined on my property. I had to go to the tingret, to court, private. And in the meantime,
the end of all that was that you had to go to the authorities with a claim that they have to fix this, and you actually won that case.
Yeah, I won that case. It ended also because of this case, who had a time period of about 3 years. So 2011 to 2014. I also had to move in between. I moved from Froland to Evje. I moved back from Evje to Froland, and a lot of stress. I set economically to pay for 2 houses and things like that. And of course, Angel had to change kindergarten, school, all these things that follow with. But as you said, I won these cases, both of them. It was on TV news in Norway, the newspapers everywhere, and but Froland Kommune politicians felt they got a kick in the balls by a blonde woman, single mother student living in the deep forest, alone, should win over them in their suits and all the money and the suitcases. So they thought, now we're going to ruin her life and kidnap her daughter. So the same neighbors who lost in this building case sent false concern messages about me to CPU office of Froland Kommune. And Froland Kommune did their part in this game, and they officially legally kidnapped my daughter.
It was after that case sort of have gone on for some years that the worries start to come into the barnevern, the social protection service for children. That sort of a payback. Okay, we lost, now we're going to take you. And then they start to report you to the childcare. And in 2013, the childcare checked this first time, and they found you was a good enough mother, and they cancelled the case. But then it went on a year or 2 later, and that's when they took your daughter.
Yeah, because I moved. Then I lived in Evje when in the time of this investigation, what you talk about, and I moved back to Froland, and then they start fully towards me, my animals, my daughter, with harassment and scary behaviors and deeds to try to scare me, because they had lost nearly 500,000. That if you include the lawyer costs they had to pay for my lawyer, and they didn't want that, and they were many, and I was one. So the whole place where I lived was only a family of these people. So they put themselves together, make a rotten plan, and make concern messages them together, the people who lost. And send in. Plus, they shoot with air guns towards my horses. One of them is kicking one of my dogs in the belly. They tell to their children, don't stand with her daughter on the bus waiting place. So my daughter ended to stand waiting alone. A lot of things they did.
So after losing the land cases, they started to harass you and your daughter. And there was, as far as I could see, mobbing at the school. Somebody was, as you just said, shooting at your property with air gun, shooting at your horses and other animals. As I just showed the viewers in the Norwegian newspaper, this is in Norwegian, but it says mother and daughter living with poisoned water. And there was in the one of the biggest news station, Norwegian Broadcasting, they had this case at the time. So it was a big case in that small commune, Froland kommune, and a lot of people was in danger of losing face, sort of. And then you win, and then the payback come with worries to the childcare system. And that ended up in they taking your daughter. And I saw from the psychology report that looked like sort of fraud because a report like that is for the court to know how you are as a parent, your parenting skills, but you were situated in Germany, and the psychologist never saw you and your daughter together at all. She only talked to you over telephone 1 hour. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. For 1 hour talking on the telephone, she made an evaluation of my psychological health. I never met this person, to be aware of that. I never met this person. My husband was witness of this conversation. I just said I have 2 dogs and tell a little bit about my dog's story, that I own a horse. Just normal blah blah blah. Like the weather, what is the weather kind of talk. And from this, she make that I'm psychologically sick and that I cannot, I'm not
you're not capable of
or suitable for to take care of a child. I'm not suitable to see my child. It was completely crazy. But the most crazy part here, I think, is that the judge in the courthouse have accepted this report made out of nothing.
That is pretty serious, because we those who are not familiar with the Norwegian childcare system, I can tell that only the last couple of years Norwegian childcare, or Norway, have been sentenced in the European Court of Human Rights 8 times, and there are about 30 other cases waiting, all connected to childcare. And the last case was just a few days ago in the Grand Chamber regarding Article 9, that's about religion. But most of the cases Norway have lost is about Article 8, it's about the family and privacy. And this case, especially when I see this psychologist who actually write that you are paranoid and a lot of different things, without even meeting you, while the psychiatrist that you went to ask something wrong with me, she wrote a report that you don't have any diagnosis whatsoever. And that's where you see this, what shall we say, the fraud. This is pure fraud.
I went myself to a special psychologist because I wanted a serious evaluation, because I knew they were planted the diagnosis on me in this case by Froland Kommune standing behind this, which is the so-called care commune of my daughter now, after they officially kidnapped her from me in 2014, June 2014. And basically, I lost my track. I kom ut av det, Rune.
But I can get you in again.
Okay.
How many times have you seen your daughter the last couple of years?
First, I want to say something about this special psychologist. I went myself to a special psychologist. She's called Else Bachmann.
She is a psychiatrist, right?
Special psychologist, special psychiatrist. And she's the only one in this whole case who have had a serious evaluation with all the tests. You need to put a diagnostic or to evaluate the mental state of a person. She, after taking these tests, And several conversations, me and her physically together, she found nothing.
No.
She also found nothing on the diagnosis given of Roland Kommune in this CPU case.
Yeah.
But this document, they just look away from.
Yeah.
They don't care. They pretend like it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
They don't even.
They just pick and choose what evidence they want to look at.
Yeah, and instead they pay a person that talk with me on the telephone without meet me physically, without having tests.
I could, from the psychology report, I could see that what this court-appointed psychologist was actually doing was looking at how you was fighting to get your daughter back. And based on that, said that you are not fit to be a mother.
Yeah,
actually, you are a lion. You know, you're fighting for your own daughter. And
which mother or father would not fight for the children if they love their children?
Yeah.
And especially in my daughter's situation, where I sit with photo evidences and record the telephone calls of severe neglect she's exposed to in the foster home, of severe abuse, of and abuse marks all over her body. And emotional and mental abuse they are doing towards her. That comes out in documents to be read there. She tells about herself. Which mother or father don't do something about that?
It's actually your fighting skill when the system tried to take you down that she is evaluating. And that's why she called you paranoid and different things, because it's actually them that you're fighting. But the way you are parenting your daughter, that's a totally different case. Because if we can see something same in Norway, we have military in Afghanistan killing terrorists, as we like to call them, and these same soldiers come back to Norway and they are parents. So should we evaluate their parenting skills from how many people they kill down there or how they take care of their children?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually the same here. They are evaluating you or blaming you because you're fighting for your daughter, and they don't look at how you are parenting your daughter. Because in the report from 2013, everything was okay. You was good enough, and they canceled the case. So I have a feeling that this case is going to blow back in their face one day, for sure.
Very hard, and I think it's going to cost them a lot because my daughter have lost a lot of years of her childhood, and have what she has been exposed to, what I for 100% can document that she has been exposed to. Have given her emotional and mental and I think also physically damages, which will of course track her down the rest of her life.
The 2nd of February this year, just a few days ago, you were in court, in the city court, the appeal case. How did you feel the judge? Did she look impartial, or was she favoring the childcare? Or
no, she was all the time favoring the official part.
Childcare system.
Me and my lawyer never got anything we asked for. We asked about that a sakkunnig should look at when me and my daughter were spending time together physically at the same place. This was refused. And actually, as you know yourself, this is a right you have as a parent. You have the right for this. Sometimes with sakkunnig and its report. But on all the years from 2014, I never got my right for this report. At the same time, there is something called tillitsperson in Norwegian, that's called in English a trust person, that the child have a right from the moment it is removed from their home. It has a right to choose themselves a person to keep contact with and talk to, which is not connected with CPU,
Yeah.
CPS, or the foster home. This was never given to my daughter.
Yeah.
And the latest years of talsperson, that means that the child is allowed to speak what they want themselves,
Yeah.
is done in illegal ways.
Yeah.
It's done in the CPU office or in the foster home.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be done away from
Yeah.
CPU workers,
On
from the
neutral
CPU
ground.
office,
Yeah.
foster parents and the foster home, so
Yeah.
that the child can feel free to speak.
Yeah.
What they do is they have full control over her, and they
Yeah.
keep her to which you will read yourself. My daughter is afraid of these foster parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I see.
she writes.
I could see this picture with wounds and blue marks and
Yeah.
scars around her body.
Yeah.
We have a description that they break plates in front of her to
Yeah.
scare her, lock her up in a room, lock the door. I was just thinking, if a parent had done that, the child care system would definitely come.
Exactly, they would, but
Yeah.
Runa,
Yeah.
with police, they would come with police, take
Yeah.
out this child.
Yeah.
What happens when I or somebody else here have asked for help from police?
Yeah. No, they don't help you.
The police
Yeah.
put you in a cell and take away evidential proof on my phones
Yeah.
of child abuse done by the foster parents under official care.
Yeah.
This is what happens.
Yeah.
It is really terrible.
I also register a very other serious thing here, that the foster mother went out on Facebook talking about this case and actually criticizing you and what I would say, glamorizing herself.
Yeah.
And some of her friends, oh, this was a very good foster mother. And then she actually went out, and I think that's a breach of confidentiality, because she's not allowed to do that. She's actually employed, she paid by the government, hundreds of thousands every year, Norwegian kroner, to take care of your daughter. And then she go out and start talking about the case. That is definitely not legal. So I think...
Yeah, her name is Ann-Kristin Ausland, and indeed on her former reportages, which was in Norwegian language, she started to comment together with a family of her and her friends in the neighborhood in Navisdal there, in Arendal. And but when I posted the photos of abuse they have done to my daughter, they very fast shut it up, as you noticed. Then the comments were also over. So, but it's not allowed, is what you say. It's taushetsbelagt. If you work as a foster parent, you are not allowed to let know that you know this child or are taking care of this child or know the mother or anything at all.
Absolutely. So there are a lot of things here that's not according to the human rights of either you or your daughter. And I also see that the Grand Chamber in European Human Rights Court, they have decided that seeing the child 3 to 6 times every year is too little. And now that in Norwegian court has been started to raise. But how many times the last couple of years have you have visitation with your daughter?
Yeah, I saw my daughter the last time November 2018.
So that's 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
My last telephone call with my daughter was August 2015.
Yeah. So just in that thing, they are breaking the human right Article 8 about family.
Severely.
For
not
a long
only
time.
For me, but imagine how this feels for my daughter. They also refused me to give her gifts for birthday and Christmas.
Christmas gift.
How do you think it feels for my daughter to never hear the mother's voice, never see the mother, never see that on her birthday there's also a package from mommy, or on Christmas there's a package from mommy. The only thing I can hope for is that she knows
Yeah.
that is because I'm not allowed and not because I don't want to give.
Yeah, I have here in similar cases where the child care have told the child that, oh, your mother don't care about you anymore. There is no present. And in the office of that particular child care office, there was a huge bag of Christmas present that was returned. Even letters mother sent was returned, and then they manipulate the child into believing, no, nobody care about you, you have to stay here. And of course, children can be manipulated, and
Yes,
that
they
is
do it with my
definitely
daughter.
not
They
good.
make my daughter believe that your mother is sick, so you will never come home.
Yeah,
Your mother is sick, so you better not see her.
yeah, I saw
That
that
is the
in
brainwashing.
I saw that in the psychology report where the psychologist, I don't know if that's true because you never know about this, what they write, but she wrote that your daughter worried little about meeting you because mama is sick. But who told her that? Because
It's the
your
CPU.
doctors say
Yes,
you're
in
not
other
sick.
documents, she
Yeah,
have explained that it's barnevernet, CPU workers of Frola Kommune who tells her that, and Ann-Kristin Ausland and Jens Vigeland, who is the foster parents, which commented on our former reportage.
Since you have a paper from a psychiatrist saying there's nothing wrong with you, they are lying.
Yeah,
and
they are manipulating and infiltrating and brainwashing my daughter to believe things about me that is complete lies.
Absolutely.
And that I can also document by psycholog that it is lies.
Yeah, and that all these small things add up to a very serious case.
Oh yeah.
You have corruption, you have breach of human rights, you have breach of Norwegian law. It's
harassment.
Endless. Yeah,
Harassment.
Yeah.
It feels really. You can imagine yourself if somebody would create and make lies about you that you are something you are not, and you also prove you are not, and that this is getting used in such a case like this, and that somebody manipulates your child to believe this lie what they themselves created.
And all of this is actually a revenge because you win in court on the land case.
Yeah.
And that makes it even worse.
I think that the worst in this whole case that have altogether from the building case of been about 10 years. I think the worst case, what has been done here by politicians and official employers here, who misuse their power to do what they have done, is that they hit on the most vulnerable and helpless person in this whole case, which was a child. And they ruined her. She didn't make a choice for anything of what happened there. And I find this so I don't have words. I find it unhuman that somebody is able to attack a 7.5-year little girl and really ruin her life completely. Take her away from the mother she was happy with and put her to their own family and only earn money on her and completely ruin her life.
Because you lived together with your daughter for 8 years. She was 8 years when they take her, was it?
7.5 years.
So she have connected to you, she know you, and what they then try to break is definitely a human right violation, very serious one. So this is a very, shall we say, ugly case, sort of.
It's very ugly.
But we are now waiting for the judgment of this city court that maybe come in a week or so. And then we can see what the court decide, because if the court not start process as they are told by the human rights courts to do, to get your daughter home again, they are violating the human rights treaty, and that means this is going on to the next court, the Supreme Court, and to the High Court. And if none of them are following the human right, then this case ends up in Strasbourg, in the European Court of Human Rights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in this way, if the case ends there, I'm 100% sure they will find all the breakage, severe breakage of the human rights in this case. And what happens when you win the cases there is that you automatically, the newspapers and television news in Norway get interest in your case.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in this way, I can apply it. Also, me and her situation and case out in the Norwegian media on a wider spectrum in the big newspapers and television. And I think this is needed here because as you see in the whole picture, like courts, police, fylkesmen, all the things is corrupted all the ways. It stops everywhere. So what you need is a lot of media power,
lot of
attention
a lot of
attention, and bring it out in the light with its names and everything.
Because
so that
you are now situated in Germany, as we speak, because living here isn't safe for you, actually.
No. I get harassed by police and family of the foster home and everything.
Well, one thing, this psychology that on the work for the court made a report about you. She was actually, her mandate was to see how you were parenting with your daughter. And how much did she see you and your daughter together?
Zero.
So she actually just called you and say hello, how is the weather in Germany, and blah, blah, blah. And then she wrote a 30-40 page report about you. And I saw the report. It was actually about you fighting for your daughter to get back. And they used that against you.
Yeah. Exactly. And from, as said, from this 1 hour telephone call, she come with a conclusion of I was psychologically not well, completely ignoring the actual only serious psychological report in this case, which is from Else Bachmann, that I have nothing of this diagnosis and I'm psychologically well. To tell the truth and to document the truth doesn't make you psychologically sick, does it? Even though it happens under official and political care. You understand? It's not the only case that governments or politicians is trying to create a person to be just mental ill or something. If the person say a truth of crime that happens under official care, you understand? Like there is other people also in Norway. They have ended in prisons. They have ended in mental hospitals. Been put at false diagnosis on them just to shut their mouth because they said too much.
It's a misuse of power, actually.
Misuse of power. You are supposed to just be like the white sheeps, like everybody, and accept all the what they do, and hush hush if you know something or can document something.
Because you told me that the lawyer from this Froland kommune have said in court that if you could not, what shall we say or argue against the childcare, maybe you can see your daughter 1 hour every year, right?
Yeah, it was, But I could really slap his face, you know, so it's good I was not there physically and on video, because I could really slap his face. 1 hour, 1 time a year.
Just to silence you.
Really, it's they are making a big fool out of themselves. There's so many thousands of people who followed my Facebook of our life when my daughter lived with me. People who followed and known and seen my daughter in my care since she was a baby. And that they all can witness the big change also before and after, and how severe the negative changes it's been after she was officially kidnapped from me of Froland Kommune in June 2014.
Okay. Last word isn't said in this case, I think.
No.
So we will look forward to see when the judgment come from City Court, maybe next week, and we can update our followers to see what this judge have decided, because the Human Rights Court also have clear lines of how judges in Norway is going to work too, because that was some of the big issues here in this Strandlobben case that went up in Grand Chamber a couple of years ago. That one decides how the courts here is also going to work. And if the court here with this judge doesn't follow that, she has an even bigger problem, because as in your case, when that went on, you were alone against this mob in that commune, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
But now this case is out, and you're not alone anymore. So now they are in the few, and we are in the many.
Yeah.
The change has come.
Mm-hmm.
And we know your rights, and they better find out fast, because we're probably coming after them.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay. Any last words?
No, that was
Adds
it.
it up.
I think then we can do it in English after the.
We can see what when the court decision come. We can see how they made that case come out.
But I don't know.
You already know how the decision comes.
Yeah, because it's before
The thing is
decided.
that for me, I see it as a foreigner, of course. Like, I'm German, so I watch it. It's a bit like a movie, actually.
Yeah.
This bad system that you have.
Yeah.
For me, I watched the whole case. It's more like it's like an imitation of a court case.
Yeah.
And it always says everybody's bought and paid, and they didn't call it that way because I think they get bought and paid with their salary. It is like everybody there, except your own lawyers, on the same team.
Yeah.
They're on the same team. You stand there alone. So I call it an imitation of a court case. You don't ever get the impression that the judge is trying to get an objective impression or really figure out what's going on there. It just follows the papers that CPU hands in, and everybody's kind of speaking over you, and they look away from things. One of the most unbelievable things I found that there's a doctor document existing that I've seen myself, that it exists, where a doctor reports like injuries on her daughter, like with blue marks under both arms and stuff, where you can really say, okay, this cannot have happened by a plane accident or something. No. And that her lawyer asked that document in several times, and that the court refused it with kind of a wishy-washy explanation. What did they say? That Angel didn't want that.
Yeah, they use excuse. Angel don't want this doctor report to be given in. They give us an excuse. The fact is that it stands in this document. Angel Maria has several blue marks under both her arms, and it's done in the foster home. So Ann-Christine and Jens, the foster parents in this case, if you can call them that, has been abusive to her physically, and they don't want this document that a doctor has seen the abuse marks under the arms of my daughter be brought to court. So it's just being denied, and also the judge is accepting.
Yeah, how is that possible? I don't understand that, because I believe, and I personally believe always in the good in men. I think that. And of course, I believe in the usefulness of a system like Barnevern. Every country needs something like a child protection service, of course. But from what I see in Norway, it's like it's a system that got mad. Like a system got mad.
You can see that from all the judgments against the Norwegian CPS system in the Human Rights Court. There are extremely many compared to other countries. And I think what we are expecting to see here in this judgment from City Court now is another miscarriage of justice, pure and simple.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're going to see.
That's a completely failed. I don't understand why. From what I see, there's far too much money involved. It's like a shop that is always open. It gives the wrong incentives.
It's-
Also, the amount of money that
It's
foster
human
parents
say.
get
It's human say.
is completely insane. I think it is good, of course, that a foster family gets supported, that they don't, let's say, have an extra financial burden or something, but it should become a profession, because, of course, that sets the wrong incentive, it attracts the wrong people.
Also, you have several cases that it's been pedophiles and stuff who have got foster children, or what he says, that it attracts the wrong kind of people. Also, like what I believe in my daughter's case, that this is criminal people. I have indications out from what my daughter has said, and pictures have been sent of my daughter, only 8 years old, full of lipstick in her face and red lipstick and high heel shoes and everything, and with bikinis, which is far too, should not be worn by so small girl.
Absolutely.
I believe that these people in this foster home is criminals, and that they also might do child prostitution in under child welfare services of my child. And
I can say that just a few days ago, a policeman was found guilty of pedophile activity. We have judges in the same. We have childcare workers sentenced. A couple of years ago, 52 cases was lined up, and that was foster parents. You have doctors, and you have other, shall we say, high-ranking officials in the Norwegian system where children come, kindergarten, schools,
teachers.
There are exposed pedophiles all over the place, but they don't want to talk about it, and they just get out
but
of the way.
It's a big business, but it's hidden. It's very well hidden. But it is big business. It was recently a reportage in the newspaper that I saw on my phone about that child prostitution in Norway had been doubled the latest years. Doubled. That only shows you one thing, that the police is not doing their job.
No, absolutely not. And the police, there are policemen now sentenced for pedophile too. So who can you trust?
Who can you trust? Indeed, who can you trust? You can soon not send your child to school or kindergarten or whatsoever before have a small worry. What if?
Okay, I think we got the picture on the case so far. Now we wait for the decision in the city court, and then we can come back to the case and make a new interview with you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, have a nice time.